buddy. Iannetta gets the start tonight, and really, the times that he's been out there, he's giving you something offensively almost every time. Can you talk about what he has provided for
you?
us?
He's in a really good spot with his swing. I know that he and Mags and Sally have been working and talking about a lot of different things. They can, maybe be a little bit more specific, but, that was a good swing on hanging breaking ball. Hit a ball, hard. The last few times he's played a lot of his at-bats, so that's a great sign for Chris offensively.
And talking about offenses with left hand, with McMahon, to see him finally drive a ball off a right-hander to left field instead of trying to pull it, there's obviously been some work there.
Yeah, that was, right now, I still, Mac's strength is, gap to gap. We've seen the opposite field power. We've seen the opposite field, base hit from Mac. Today, some low pitches that looked like he tried to dig out and pull. I mean, those were tough pitches to hit. Those are pitcher's pitches. But 2-0 count, Bradley, fastball down, out, away from him. That's what Mac does with that pitch. Ball was driven. That was a big hit too. That was big for the team, and I think that's a big confidence boost for Mac too.
Because that's what he hasn't been doing lately, right?
Yeah.
But Sentazela really battled for you out there today. Was able to scatter those 9 hits. How was he able to limit the damage?
He got out of a couple jams. He got the pitcher a couple times with guys on base. That was big. But again, I think there was a couple big punch outs in there. I think Walker in the middle part of the game was a good punch. But he battled through it. A couple of hits were soft. There's a couple of ground ball hits that went through, a couple of opposite field ground ball hits that were mixed in there. But, I thought Sensa had a better breaking ball today than we've seen the last few starts, so that's a good sign. Early in the game, I thought the velocity was up just a tick. That's a good sign. He used the top of the zone. I think, when he gave up some hits, they were a little bit elevated, but, that's something that we can work on, just the up and down of the fastball. So that was a good effort. 6 innings, only give up 2 runs. That was a good effort.
And then the guy that closed out for you, actually first career save for Chad Bettis.
Yeah, Chad, the last number of outings, Chad has really thrown the ball well. I think what you saw today was, good stuff down in the strike zone. Fastball down, changeup down. I think he mixed in 1 or 2 curveballs, but if Chad keeps the ball at the knees or below, changing speeds, you're going to get the ball on the ground, and that's what he does. I think in the bullpen, you're going to see a little bit of the uptick in the velocity, so you might see a few more fastballs at times at the letters, but it's going to be a heavy attack of pitches down and moving down. And I think with Chad's makeup, something like today, a save situation where we scored a couple, added on, he's going to be under control and poised and throw strikes. So that's a good addition to the pen if Chad can pitch like he has, his last handful of games.
A couple of hits from Desi tonight. What have you just kind of seen out of him recently to kind of, keep that success?
Well, again, I think, yesterday the opposite field double off the wall. I think with Desi all-field hitting, I think is something that's important, using the whole field. He's getting the ball a little bit airborne more this season. We've talked about that, even though, 2 hits today were on the ground. One off the middle was a bullet. But Desi's taken better overall swings. I think the walk rate is up a little bit too. I just think, the at-bats are such where he's seeing the ball and for the most part, swinging at strikes and taking balls.
What were the conditions like down there? I mean, from up top, it looked like guys were really cold.
Well, it was cold. It was windy. Down on the field, it was pretty windy. I'm not sure what the temperature was, but I think with the rain and the wind, it was a little gnarly. The field held up pretty well. I think Raz and his guys did a good job, all day long. So, it wasn't to the point where, it was too dicey, but, a little bit more time out there with a little bit more rain might have.
Buddy, we're all accustomed to seeing Nolan working his magic over at third.
Sure.
But tonight in the 9th inning, that play that he made was really pretty amazing, really.
Well, yeah, the ground ball, on wet grass has a tendency to skip and do different things. And you know, he didn't quite stay down on it. You can probably talk to him about it, but, you know, his reaction time to get it and spin and throw a bullet, you know, to get a speedy runner, I mean, that's what he does. Instinctually, he knows the opposition, their foot speed, how the ball was hit, the timing of every play and what he has to do. So, I mean, he reacted like he had to, very fast, had to get rid of it with something on it, and he did, and it resulted in a bang out.
Buddy, considering the conditions, Ionnetta's homer, is that kind of just the mark of what this club's been able to do the last 5-6 games?
Well, you know, we're getting contributions from everybody. That was a big swing. You know, that was, you know, the biggest swing of the night for sure. And then Mac added on. But, you know, Chris is capable of that. He's got some power. So I think that's his 4th home run, and, you know, hasn't quite got 100 at bats. So I think that's a good sign. But that was a hanging breakable, and he's been swinging well, like we talked about earlier. So that's, I don't want to say it's not surprising, but you know, that was good to see.
Howard Diaz, first major league win. He's becoming a reliable go-to guy out of that bullpen. Almost a 1-2-3 game besides the error. What have you seen from him so far?
Well, we knew his performance in AAA was such where he was throwing strikes with 2 quality pitches, the fastball and the slider. That has seemed to happen now that he's a big leaguer. Now we got to continue that. I think that, you know, there's a difference between a minor league hitter and a big league hitter, and we've seen a little bit of that just in the short work that he's been here. David picked him up, you know, on a nice catch of a line drive. But Hyro's throwing strikes, which is the main thing that I like. And now it's just a matter of, you know, getting the ball potentially in better spots for the most part, and using that slider. But he seems to be mentally in a great spot. Physically, the ball's coming out great. The stuff is good. So, you know, we need all the reliable arms we can get as we move through the, you know, meat part of the season and down the last couple of months, because it's going to take all of them. A game like today, after the last couple of games, we had 3 guys who weren't going to pitch today, and you saw us sort of use the bullpen differently based on that. So we need reliable arms, guys who are going to throw strikes, and Hyro here in a very short time has proven that what he was doing in AAA has translated to big league performance.
Before the Tommy John and his wife's death and that, he'd had success at the big league level.
Right.
Do you think if he's feeling better, that helps him too?
I think definitely helps him. That was a, you know, really tough couple of years, you know, personally, and that affects, you know, obviously your play. You know, you're injured, you miss time, and then the personal stuff with his family and his wife. I mean, that is tragic. And
Yeah.
he's in a better place now. I mean, time heals, but we're all, like I said initially when he got here, we're extremely happy for him and proud of how he's bounced back. Okay, guys.